we have seen how the world, how the church developed from pre-war days, pre-war of the Second World War. And then through the wars, after the war, the rebuilding of the Philippines, and the post-war periods until the modern times considered to be modern. I was born with Dominican educated parents, and when I say Dominican, it's really connected with the rosary. So from the beginning, our family recited the rosary at night. My father was a medical officer in the Philippine Army, and so he was in the war, in the Second World War, and after the World War continued to serve also in the armed forces of the Philippines. I grew up after the war in Baguio City, okay? And in Baguio City was located the Philippine Military Academy. So as a young boy, elementary school, we would watch parades and all of that. With my father being also in the army, medical officer, my environment was the military camp and military people. So I thought I would also be a military man, entering through PMA and maybe join the Navy because I wanted to see the world. So you can imagine a handsome young man following a path of a military career. It's but natural that the girls were attracted to me. I was not attracted to them. They were the ones attracted to me. Oh. Both my parents were graduates of the University of Santo Tomas, which is the first university here in the Philippines and in Asia run by Dominicans. My father graduated in the College of Medicine, and my mother was one of the first graduates of the College of Pharmacy. So they were Dominicans. So when people ask me, why did you enter the Dominican order? I really grew up with the Dominicans. That's why I said my DNA has some Dominican things there. I studied in De La Salle College, and during the Marian year, I remember this very well, we were tasked, the Naval ROTC cadets of La Salle were tasked to help in giving the communion. That was Marian year, December of 1954, and we were assigned one priest to administer, to give communion to the men during men's night. And I remember very well, we were already giving communion for 1 hour and we were not finished. That is when it dawned on me that there is a big lack of priests in the Philippines. So I might as well be a priest and naturally join the Dominicans. Because of that life with parents going to Mass every day, reciting the rosary at home, my sister and I entered the religious life. So out of the three, two became religious and I became a priest. Most of my assignments were in school, where I developed a system of education where there will be no grades, no failures, just studying and mastery of the lessons. Ayon. So all my assignments also started with the Dominican schools. I graduated in Letran, and my first assignment was also Letran. And then our different universities, I was assigned to Aquinas University, and then from there I became the provincial superiors of the Dominicans. So I was not being assigned anymore. I was the one assigning. And when I finished my term of 8 years, I had 2 terms. I volunteered to work in the leper colony of Tala because they also have a school there. And the priest who started that leper colony, American priest, Father Leo Hofsty, was already getting old, developing Alzheimer, and I thought he needed help. And after 8 years of flying and going to this place and that place, it was a grand rest for me to be there for 9 years, just helping out the best I can. Also in a school, we have a school there, and in the parish. Then it's also where I developed a love for the missions. So if there is any opportunity to volunteer for the mission, I did that. And so my last assignment before returning to Santo Domingo was a mission in Ethiopia, where we helped the bishops of the country put up their first Catholic university. So when I came back in 2009, I asked, what am I going to do now? And I was told I am already retired. But I did not really retire in that sense of not doing anything. I continued to teach the religious education students of Siena College, which was very interesting because it gave me a chance to continue what I started in education and form teachers also of this time of theology and religion, to continue the spreading of the good news of our Lord. From my personal experience, the way education was being administered, it's not really for everybody. There is a strong bias for those who are very good, very intelligent, and so even teachers pay attention to them more. So I flunked grade 6 in Letran College, and for me that was very traumatic, because if you don't understand anything in the classroom, you fool around. So I was just fooling around during my grade 6 years, and my report card will give testimony to that. It's all red marks, and the lowest is character education, because I was not behaving well. But in my heart, I know it is not my fault. So I was told to study education, and I dedicated myself what kind of education will be good for everybody, not only for the good and the intelligent ones. So I did my graduate work in UST, and this is one of the assignments that I got in the graduate school, to investigate the different kinds of educational system in the world. So I went from one embassy to the other, interviewing their cultural attaché, and there I discovered a way of teaching and educating without failures and without grades. So that was really a real discovery. So I said, this should have been done. So I should not have failed. What made me really dedicate myself to that kind of system was the fact that when I was assigned to teach, I was assigned as assistant principal of the elementary school of Letran, where I failed. And I saw young boys suffering what I suffered as a 6th grader in Letran. So that's when I thought, this is not the way to bring up young boys. And that's when I changed. my concept of education that early. And when I was given a chance of being elected at the Provincial of the Philippine Province, when one of the fathers suggested, let us put up a school in Santo Domingo. So I said, okay, provided there will be no grades, there will be no failures. I'm Father Rogelio Alarcon I was born in Laur, Nueva Ecija, and I have been a Dominican for 63 years.